manage your 5G policy?
5G mast on fire.
The 5G!
No signal here. 0G now.
Man's out here doing the business. What are you lot doing?
Recently, emergency services in the UK have had to deal with a spate of attacks on mobile phone masts, motivated by conspiracy theories linking coronavirus to 5G.
It lowers your immunity and runs people down.
5G is a weapon.
Hi guys, do you know what you're doing now? You're laying 5G.
Yeah.
So you know that kills people.
The theories range from claims that 5G weakens the body's immune system to the idea that the virus is literally created by 5G.
It absorbs oxygen.
That's just nonsense. Dangerous nonsense as well.
It's not merely an opinion or an interesting conspiracy, it's just bollocks.
So, what has 5G got to do with coronavirus? Spoiler alert, absolutely nothing. So let's explain exactly why these theories are so wrong. Beginning with the idea that 5G could be spreading the virus.
This is, a pandemic caused by a virus. We, and I say we, I do mean like most people from secondary school science understand the basics of a virus. It is a thing that has a physical existence that can be seen with an electron microscope and is passed around. It's really hard on that basic level to connect it to 5G at all, and yet people have managed to do that.
So that's the craziest theory dealt with, but it's not the only one doing the rounds.
One of the big popular claims against radio waves in general is the claim that they harm the immune system, in part, frankly, because it's nicely unprovable, and it means that if you live under a mobile phone mast, every single cold or flu or infection you get is blamed on the mast.
Okay, let's just stop for a moment to consider this. Like other mobile tech before it, 5G uses radio waves to work. But in comparison to 4 or 3G, the frequencies can be a bit higher. And this is where much of the confusion and concern over 5G's risk to health comes from, as higher frequencies do carry greater radiation risks. But let's add a bit more detail here. This is the electromagnetic spectrum, and there's a pretty simple way to separate safe radiation from unsafe radiation, which is this.
Higher wavelength than visible light, ultraviolet, all the way up to X-rays and gamma rays, is ionizing radiation and is dangerous. That is the dangerous radiation that, most directly for humans, the problem is it damages DNA and causes cancers, but it also does more direct damage at the more energetic ends. Non-ionizing radiation, the main effect it has is it heats things up. That's why a microwave oven works, in part. But it also means that it's much easier to set limits. If the energy is not enough to heat things up to a dangerous level, it's not dangerous. That's the basic science of non-ionizing radiation.
The recommended safety limits for exposure to electromagnetic frequencies are set by the ICNIRP. And in recent tests, the telecoms regulator Ofcom found 5G-enabled base stations were well within these limits. This result covers all bands that are in use, but if we take the result of 5G alone, this figure becomes minuscule. I mean, it's barely visible here. The long and short of this is that 5G is comfortably meeting safety standards. So how did this false and completely unscientific connection come about?
I think the most interesting thing about this story is just the speed with which it's spread and the scale that it's grown to already. People have had fears about electromagnetic radiation for a very long time, and there is something ethereal about the idea of waves of energy passing through your body all the time, and it's very easy on a psychological level to understand why people are unsettled by that. But what is fascinating here is that this is a rapidly mainstreamed position.
It's very easy to say it is not true because it suits the state narrative.
Search 5G in Facebook and you'll find plenty of anti-5G groups. But the earliest reported instance of it being linked to coronavirus appeared in this Belgian newspaper back in January. Within a week, fact-checking sites were debunking claims 5G was linked to coronavirus. But these conspiracy theories spread rapidly through social media, even being repeated by celebrities to their followers.
There was lots of people saying, isn't it interesting that 5G gets switched on and then suddenly we have a pandemic? Or, have you seen how coronavirus is only hitting countries with 5G?
These things are easily debunked, as coronavirus has devastated countries such as Iran that don't have 5G. And as for those maps, well, all they show is a correlation, not causation. They also correlate to population density, which, as we know, is the perfect breeding ground for this highly contagious virus. But for a bit of fun, you could correlate coronavirus to the locations of power plants, McDonald's restaurants, or even fans of the insane clown posse.
The huge range of theories there is one of the reasons why it's so hard to tackle head on. And every now and again you hit upon one that isn't directly debunkable, because sort of no one has done research on whether a virus can be spontaneously assembled out of 5G radio waves. There is no research on that because it's not true. And that is really hard for sort of traditional journalism to deal with.
Coronavirus is a battle being fought on many fronts.
We're not just fighting an epidemic, we're fighting an infodemic.
And living in lockdown has in part allowed these 5G conspiracy theories to flourish. But when these false ideas mutate into criminal vandalism, taking out emergency communications with it, the life and death consequences are very real.
The mobile phone networks are absolutely critical. Those are also the phone networks that are used by our emergency services and our health workers. And I'm absolutely outraged, absolutely disgusted that people would be taking action against the very infrastructure that we need to respond to this health emergency.